This could be a torpid heart comes back, taking over my asking for people your to start from the beginning until you pay and prepare until you pay and show me life. Just know this you never knew until you reached yourself back here. The blue of your deepest heart. What is gonna stop? What is going to stop? From every cloud I would be. Smallest silence high I was before. Since the beginning of it all, and over and over and over. And I have reached the shore. Never-ending life, everywhere I come to the shore of my patience and my peace. Sure, never knew that I'd know what has happened before. What have you done? What have you seen? And you will life and love with Should you come back? You will know. Should you come back? Should you come back? You will know. Should you come back?
Ah, fuck, the Discord is in the stream. Okay, hold on, let me turn it off. I didn't know Discord was on. I don't know why Discord doesn't go to my... The notifications don't go to my headphones. They just go to the... test. They just go to the... just get rerouted to you guys. I don't even hear them. Oh my god. Okay, right, I should maybe hide this or something. How do I do this shit? God damn it, it's been a while. Okay, here we go. Can we make this bigger? Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so the first track today is from Abroxis. Here we go. Wait, hold on a second. Is it panned super hard to the left or right? Like when I play the track, does it feel like it's like panned? Stream sucks. Okay. I don't know what to do. Oh wait, maybe I do. No, I don't. Creative Cloud? Ah. Is it better? Okay. Okay, cool, cool. Okay, my last question is this panned really hard to one side? I guess Brocco is going to be the one to know. Slightly panned to the right. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm having a problem with my cables, I think, or something. It's really weird. It's like the problem is something to do with this shenanigans, this rerouting bullshit. So my voice is going to be a little bit to the right, and then oh, maybe I can turn this. Test, test, test. Oh, okay, here we go. Oops. Test, 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 test. It's probably not going to sound as good if I do this, but. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to prioritize the track, so hopefully they'll be a little bit more centered. Phasing is fucked up. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Better now? Is that better, Brocco? Is it still phasey? Hello? I know there's a long delay, so we'll just wait until somebody writes back. Fuck, I can't hear, so I can't tell if it's good or not. Well, no, because if it's phasey, then it's gonna sound fucked for everybody else's. Okay, let's pick a song that we all know and love. Let's just go back to this. You guys tell me if it's phasey. Where is it? Okay, how are we doing? We phasing? I don't know what to do with these wires. I'm just wiggling them. These ones or these ones now? I wish I could fucking hear it. Is it phasey? Is normal? Okay. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Normal enough. Okay, let's listen to this from the start because that sucks. Glitching it out remix. Okay, cool. So, ready? This is a track by Abraxas. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Very cool. Although you got rid of the ambient-y stuff at the beginning, which I think is too bad because that was cool. I like it. I think it's working. I think I think I would try to work in some more soft sounds in here because all of the sounds are very like kind of midsy, and they're really sort of like, I want to say like bossy or bold. Like they're all very kind of bold sounds. God damn it, Ray. That's as good as it's gonna get. It's not gonna get any better than that. Yeah, that would be my thought, is like have a couple more moments with sort of soft a little bit oh yeah, we should still do the storytelling. Yeah. Yeah, Brocco, if you want to tell us about the song, I think that would be cool. So yeah, my thought would be sort of like maybe a couple softer sounds in here. I think we talked about that bass, the notes of that bass line a bit, and I feel like, actually, so you have a kind of an interesting opportunity here too. So what you're doing now is like, or something like that, right? So you have this kind of like long bass note, or whatever, a couple bass notes, but then you have a really kind of interesting pattern in the drums. So one thought that I just had is maybe it would be more interesting to accentuate the notes that the kick drum is hitting with the bass. So then you'd have this sort of like or something like that, so that they're in some way kind of a little bit more connected. So right now it feels like there's an underlying bass line and then drums over top, which is a cool feeling, I think. But I think it feels like there's sort of two ideas that are kind of fighting in this section, where you have there's these kind of crazy glitches, but I don't know, I feel like I don't know. I guess we talked about it before. Like, I think just going through and figuring out which one of those maybe taking out some of those drum hits if you're going to keep it like this, because the bass kind of rides it for you. So I don't know if you need all of them. And maybe... So the other thing that you could do is more contrast between those sort of glitches and the... So for example, one way of doing that is with the frequency spectrum. So when you go to those like filter stuff and make it so it's like... I think I just spit all over myself. But yeah, so then you have that balance between low and like that kind of bouncing back and forth between low and high. Okay. It's a track from the Hyperglitch EP I'm working on, and originally the project was much darker but also kind of more boring. I'm trying to move it into the banger territory, and this focus on the mids is not intentional, but it's just something that happens to my tracks. I'm also obviously trying to bring the stricture roar into play, so it's a callback to stricture, although far less good than it. And then Key is asking if I do feedback on whips. Yeah, we definitely do feedback on whips. Cool. I don't know if I would say it's the wrong balance. It feels like to me it says it sounds like it feels like you're going in the right direction. It just feels like you're not quite there yet. So that's kind of what I would say is, like, you know, you have these instincts about it, and I think just follow your instincts, because I think there's something in this that I don't understand, and that's why the feedback that I'm giving you is not that helpful, I think. So I think the more you pull it through, just keep following your idea, I think. That's probably what I would suggest in this case. Like sometimes you're working on a track, it's like early, and then somebody suggests something and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I could work that in. But it feels to me like you have some idea here, and it's just not, it just hasn't come out yet. Yeah, Cade says more call and response with the change in frequencies. That's always a really nice trick, I think. Like low pass filters and high pass filters, or just like sounds that have more low frequencies and sounds that have more high frequencies, and just kind of moving back and forth between them. It's a really nice way to create those kind of oscillations in your stuff. Okay, that's how Stricture was made. Like 6 to 7 different projects. That's cool. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Let's call it there. And yeah, and obviously I love this. So moody. I love that. Okay, Wireframe Wolves is next. Another Patreon supporter. Hello. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. It just bangs. I love the mix of the little... the little drum breaks, and then... That's really nice. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I think it just works. I like all the kind of harmonic stuff that comes out. Those little like kind of squeals. What's 2 grains? Do those drums in the middle, all the textures, and they all play blah 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 blah. I think some of warped ones would be. Oh, that's a good idea, Cade. Cade said, I think some low passing on the extremely warped ones would be interesting because everything else is super open. That might be nice. A little bit of. Oh, you got a new Max for Live device. Can you post a link to your new Max for Live device? I think you posted it in my Discord, but. Yeah, post a link. Let us all enjoy. Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really have any feedback for that one. I just really liked it. That's it. Okay, let's take a look at the 2 grains. Yeah. Watch the tutorial. Yeah, let's watch the tutorial. And then we'll get back to the track review.
Okay, so biggest problem that I'm seeing is that people are making content.
Hey, you're looking good,
that
Wireframe
actually
Wolves.
doesn't do anything. You're
Did you use Poly for the No Poly. Nice. Fuck Poly. I gotta learn how to use that shit. Oh. Yeah, this looks good. I like this. You got those nice visualizations in there. Oh, that's great. What did you use to draw the grain envelopes? Alright, this is longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was a 30-second demo. Okay, everybody, watch the demo if you like. Let's have one more link to the... Oops, I fucking closed it. Put one more link to the thing. Oh, it's plot? Oh, nice. Very good. Okay, Raven... Oh, no, wait. Okay, Wireframe Wolves is done. And this is the current track by... I fuck this up every time. Lowridus? Whatever. You get Nice. Okay, so my main thought is like, I kind of want to hear you. So like you kind of break up this rhythm a lot, and I feel like I would really like to hear you sort of build it. There's so many like. It's really cool because it's a really kind of strange rhythm. When it first came in, I was having a really hard time understanding what's happening, but now that I heard it, I can't unhear it, which is cool. But I think like it sort of feels like this is the kind of like this is sort of the max intensity that beat thing gets to, and I think yeah, it reminds me of Blah One too. I feel like you could go a bit more intense or just keep the vibe going, right? I don't think there's any need to break between these two sections, for example. This could be one solid chunk of or whatever is happening there. And then here, once you get here, I'd just be careful where you cut up your groove, because you are losing a bit of momentum, I think, in there. And so I think like when you want to put in a nice like kind of glitch moment, it's important to build up momentum up to that point, because your glitch thing is not gonna. The point of it is to sort of interrupt the groove, right? So if you don't build up enough momentum, then fucking with that groove is gonna, you like it. How do I explain this? It's like it sort of stops the track, and if you stop the track too long for too much, then it feels like too many things are going on, and so it's hard to. It makes it hard to listen to. I think it makes it hard to not listen to. It makes it hard to. It's like it doesn't pull you through enough. So I think like it's a good thing to remember when you want to put a glitch thing that you want to sort of build up, and then you cut everything out and fuck with it or whatever, and then find a nice place to land so that you can continue with the groove, so that you have this kind of like the track keeps going and you still want directionality even if you're fucking everything up with these glitch moments. Still want it to be in some sense building, or if you want it to be kind of decomposing, then you have to don't break it up too early, because it'll take away from that the sort of like the directionality of it or something. Okay, hold on. I kept the bongos running a lot. Yeah, it feels like so. I feel like those I know what you mean, but I feel like those bongos, they don't feel like they're the bulk of the they don't feel like they're the bulk of the beat. It feels like this is the bulk of it. So I think like going from here upwards to a moment where you start fucking it up like this. Like this is powerful as fuck, this kind of harsh stop. So you have to kind of you create a lot of tension when you cut out like that. So it's important when you come back from that to somehow release that energy. Do you know what I mean? So you go into it, right? And then we stop, but we come back right before the downbeat. I feel like it would be stronger if it came down on doom-to-do instead of ka-doom-to-do, you know? Or if you're going to come down on ka-doom-to-do, then do like ta-doom-to-do. You know, like lift it a little bit higher. So if you're trying to transition back down into it, then have that ta-doom be sort of in between. And then science. Nice. On and off plugins. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I think that's a great way to do it. I think just in terms of kind of taking it the rest of the way, I think I would go in there and now you do your sort of micro edits to get it to that next step or whatever. But there's a lot of cool shit going on here. I hope I didn't kind of come down as like too harsh or intense or whatever on it, because there's a lot of good things in here, and there's a lot of like this is a good track. I think it's just not done yet. So I think just like some thoughts about arrangement, like it looks like you want to go here, so build up to this bit. It doesn't have to be like an obvious build up, but like you want a reason to get there. And I think you can be a little bit more intense here. Yeah, there's lots of good moments. Oh, I'm hearing it differently now. It's such a weird riff. Yeah. Yeah. So this is another one of those moments where it's like, be careful with this. It's so long. So what I would do is like for moments like this, if you want to do a long, like a thing like that, try to figure out some directionality to it. Like, is the sort of moment, is the energy in that moment kind of going down, or is it building up into this? Or is it kind of coming down from there? And if it's coming down, then you want to figure out a way to set up to end up back there. That's sort of my thought on it, I think. But yeah, cool. Lots of crazy sounds in there. And the rhythm is primo. Primo barimo. Okay, Jack Lyon with a track called Subversion. First rule of woulg stream time: no happiness allowed. Okay. reminds me a little bit of Lapalux. You know what might be kind of interesting in here? I think this sounds like this is done, to be honest, but fucking with the tempo. Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that could be cool. I don't know how you would do that, though. I've tried that a couple times, so I can't... It's hard to get the vibe right to get those kind of weird, stretchy sort of things. I kind of imagine this would be a cool place to do it. The other thing you might want to try is playing with the stereo width of that. The yeah, that's true. It gets to be a little bit happy. Just a touch. Yeah, a little tiny bit of stereo expanding on that melodic-y bit, I think would be nice. There's moments where it gets especially in this moment, I can imagine it kind of coming out and like that we're totally in that like kind of melodic stuff, that stuff sort of becomes front and center. It feels like it's a little bit pushed back because of how kind of mono it is. But yeah. Yeah, everybody. Happiness is expensive. Yeah, that's a fucking banger though. I really like that. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, let's post that in the chat. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Thorn. Okay, cool. I think I know why you're feeling stuck with this. So these two sections are really cool. You've got a lot of cool stuff in here and a lot of cool stuff in here, but this one doesn't quite like have like a direction to it. Like it's a good moment, but it's not going anywhere. So it feels like the right thing to do is loop it, but you can only loop it so much, right? So like, so one thing that might be kind of fun to do with this sort of thing is like try to make I like to think about this, like how do you make something build up without using any of the tropes? Like don't add hi-hats or like more percussion. Don't like do an obvious sort of like bass build up or like a note that comes in that's like and see how much you can build it up without using any of those things. True, yeah, you can take things away too. That's what Jack Lyon said. So I think like there's so much like potential. Yeah. Oh yeah, slight chord changes. So actually, the guiding principle that I was using for like the first track off my new album was sort of to imagine that you're writing like a song that's like just a guitar solo basically, or a like a solo piano track or something. But in our case, it's not a solo instrument. Like our solo instrument is like the whole DAW, right? So the whole band, quote unquote, like all the sounds are the way it. I find it helped me to conceptualize it this way, that like all the sounds that I have access to, that's one instrument, and I'm doing a solo with that instrument. So that solo needs to sort of evolve in some way, right? It doesn't have to be a straightforward sort of like it's always building or it's always going down or whatever. You can have these kind of little moments. You just want some sort of direction that you're going in, right? So that's kind of, I think, what I would try to go for here is like you have this. I have a feeling that the way that this looks in your DAW is like it's a really kind of structured loop thing. So what I would say is once you get here, keep going, but tell yourself you're not allowed to loop or something, or start fucking it up in here so that it's like, I don't think it's like an exact loop, obviously, because there's lots of different little moments in there. But I just have this feeling that like in your DAW, it's like sort of loopy. So going in there and the other thing that you can do is like just completely forget about bar lines. This makes your whole process such a pain in the ass because but you can do it. Like, so the idea is like you try to think of it as like one tiny chunk at a time, right? So what I would do is like, okay, you listen to that and then you're like, okay, what could work after that? And then you make the next bit. So that was a response to the previous thing. But now what we're doing is we just listen to this. And now we think, okay, what comes after that, right? So you super zoom into your idea and you try to take it just one little piece at a time so that the whole thing is constantly like the way that you would if you were playing a guitar solo, right? So, or I mean, I play guitar, so that's my sort of go-to thought with that is like, you know, when if you're playing an instrument and you're doing a little solo thing, then you kind of come back to certain themes or something, or you'll kind of like redo a theme in a different place or something, but and you have it in the back of your head like, okay, I know that the next 4 or 8 bar segment is going to end at XYZ point, and if I want to make an emphasis, then that's a good place to put it. But in between those sections, you're not really thinking like, I got to really line this up with, you're just sort of like, okay, this responds to that, responds to this. You have the sort of click in the back of your head, but you're not thinking really strictly about that, right? I think that's how I would kind of go in here. And then, so the fun thing about that is that, like, say you decide that here, that does not, say in your head you decide that that doesn't follow well from this, right? I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying if you decided that, then what you can do is just add a bit of time there and put something else there. And if that thing doesn't resolve well to this next thing, then you know that you need to add a little bit more time and then figure out a way for that previous bit to resolve to the place that you're going, right? It's a really weird way of working because you're kind of constantly shifting stuff out of the way and finding new places for it to fit. And then some stuff feels like it should land on an emphasis point, like at the beginning of like a 4-8 bar sort of section or something, like at a place where it can naturally resolve. And then, so if you push it off of that, then you need to find a way to move it so that it can still fall on that place. But it's a super fun process, and I feel like it makes the writing of these kind of things just evolve naturally, because you're no longer thinking of like, okay, what do I do after this section? You're just thinking, what do I do after this? And that's it. And then you have a lot of space to evolve. And so on that note, what you can do also is like, because I wouldn't lose this either, right? You could think of this as sort of your destination. So you just push that way far down in your project and just think to yourself like, okay, I know that when I finish all this stuff, I need to eventually get here. Just keep it in the back of your mind and just keep working on this part until you get to a place where it makes sense to go to this. I don't know. That's my thought about it. But I love this. I think it's really cool. Yeah, that process is a major pain in the ass, but it's fun. And you get really weird shit out of it. It's just it's really hard. Like I think it's one of those things where like if you don't have all of those like those kind of build up things, like tension and release, all of that stuff like ingrained in your head, it's really, really hard to do that sort of fragmented process properly, because if you don't have all of that stuff in your back pocket, it's hard to hear where you're going in a macro sense when all you're thinking about is micro. But it's fun. I recommend anybody try it. Okay, Ordity. Turn it on a bit. Oh, fuck. Shit, I just blocked the famous guy. I meant to ban him. Oh, there it is. Ban. There we go. Okay. We don't have mods. We don't have enough money for mods. This is experimental music. All right. Yeah, okay, cool. I think this is nice. This is really different from your usual stuff, Ordity. It's weird to hear you do this kind of thing. But it's cool. Although it feels to me like your sound design is usually way more like refined than this. And well, actually that's a personal taste thing because I just really don't like real drums. I like playing them. I like recording them, but I don't know why. Just like electronic music with regular real drums. Just doesn't, I don't know, too real. It's too real. Reminds me of my pain. I like the rhythm and the bass and stuff. It almost just feels like too normal, you know? Everybody loves real drums except for me. God damn it. Yeah. I like doing that. Single-handedly ends break beats. Breaks. Don't get me wrong, I use breaks all the time too. I don't know why I said that. But it's just something about like so there's like, I feel like there's a difference between like a weird breakbeat sample or something and drums that sound like a real full drum kit. It's like there's like some processing that makes them different or something. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. That's really not important. But I get like, so I've done this type of exercise a bunch too. So you said I just decided to think as if it was a real drum kit, and I think that's like such a fucking interesting and fun thing to do. I can honestly, I can sort of imagine if you took this and swapped out all the real drum sounds for those weird sort of plasticky deconstructed club sounds that you were using before. I feel like that would be really cool and weird. But I don't know what your intention is here, what you're going for. The always point. Yeah, sorry about that, Teddy. Every time I send a track, the thing Woulg always points out is that he doesn't like real drums. I always program some. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're kind of going for here, but I think like in terms of, you know, you want to make, if this is supposed to be dubstep, I think you succeeded. There's really cool rhythms in there. The bass stuff is interesting. The kind of stuff is really cool. I like the notes that the bell thing is playing. That's another thing where the sound design is not super up my alley, but it's funny I say that because I feel like I've used a very similar sound in a couple songs, but I don't know. Yeah. Really nice. Like, you know what kind of makes me crazy about this is that I think if I saw a real drummer play this, I'd be like, oh yeah, wow, oh that's good. But it's, for some reason, it's like the there's so many nice fills in there. They're just in this space that I think like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time expressing myself, but mostly inspired by stuff like colors or that main okay. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and I know that lots of people love colors, and the thing that I don't like about colors is like the real sounding stuff, like the stuff that sounds like jazz drums or whatever. But I know I'm the odd one out in that case. Yeah, what how did you make those drums? They sound really real. Almost too real. Maybe that's my problem with them, that it's like they're too perfect. Maybe that is my problem with them, actually. They sound too much like a perfect studio kit in like an immaculate studio. Let's listen again. Yeah, those toms make it sound really perfect. It's interesting because the kick doesn't sound very like a real. Yeah, the track is too perfect. That's my problem. Ghost Notes, Prog Fusion. Yeah. I love Ghost Notes, but I have such like a kind of an allergy to prog and fusion stuff, which is weird because I used to go super hard for the prog fusion stuff. Like high school, I was like obsessed with prog and fusion stuff, and I don't know what happened. I just like, I don't know, cool kick that used in like 7 other tracks. The snares, real recorded ones. The snare gets transient from electronic one too. That's interesting. Cool. That's really interesting. This. Because very cool. Different room from everything else. That's a good point. I think the difficult thing with real drums in electronic music is they usually sound like they're in a different room from everything else, says Ascend. I think that's the thing I struggle with a lot with using real drums. Cool. Yeah, but I think you can do ghost notes with... You can do like sort of ghost notes with electronic sounding sounds. I find the way to do them is not with just the volume. It's a filtering and length, and it's sort of like a bunch of things together to get the same sort of feeling as like a ghost note. But yeah, cool. Anyways, that was a cool track. I like this part a lot too. Okay. Amaranth is not here because I think it's like the middle of the night over there, but here we go. Yeah, that was fucking amazing. And I also think that Amaranth should be famous. Okay, so... Okay, I have two kind of main thoughts. One is, I think this could kind of build up a bit more until this point, and then kind of same thing here. Or that you could have some sort of switch up for a little bit here and then come back to the theme. I don't think it's necessary, but it's just a kind of thought. The other thing that kind of popped into my head was some sort of tapey, warbly sort of stuff on the pads, making it feel a little bit more kind of like that Abraxas track that had the little warpy kind of making it a little bit more kind of detuned or something. I think it would give it a nice character. Other than that, I can't really think of anything. It's like it. Not sure about the middle or the ending or anything really. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because what you have is really good. It feels maybe like we need a reason to get here or something. Maybe we don't though. Like it could just be like this, I think. That's the thing with this track is like because of what you have, you could kind of take it to a bunch of different places, but it's just like it's already cool, so it's hard to say where else to take it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're gonna end up talking about it more in the future, but yeah. What does everybody else say? Speaking of characters, some of those chords could be moved off grid a bit. No, I want you guys to be famous. Come on. Yeah. I think it looks like in the chat, everybody just agrees that it's awesome. So I'll read some of these. Yeah, there's a lot of them. You'll have to just scroll back in the chat and read them. Maybe a little longer. A little longer break in the middle, maybe just the chords and some space, but I love it. Cool. Yeah. Damn. Okay, so before we go into the next track and check the email to see... Oh, there are some new people. Oh, Silent Signs, nice. So let's take a little break because I have to pee. And... oh, a patron, eh? Oh, shit, they're all loading in the wrong order. Okay, cool. Where is this? Oh, repost. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? These ones go here. And Jim, you'll be at the beginning of the next bit. Is there any other Patreon? Oh yeah, Patreon. Uder. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna come back and do these last two, and then we'll go into section 2. We'll have a little... Okay, all right, we're going to BRB time. Uh-oh. A key stuck on my keyboard or something? Oh. Yeah, this part. Okay, here we go. Thisbe. 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 How do you say it? Thisbe. There we go. Party on. Snare police are back. Cool. Yeah, I think I like it a lot. It sounds finished. I think you could mess with it a bit more, I guess. Like, not really that kind of tune, I guess, to mess with it too much, but this would do so well at festivals, I think. That snare is great. Yeah, I get to hear this at Tipper and Friends for sure. I don't know what I would say about this, to be honest. I think it's good. Yeah, you could go ham on all the fills. Yeah, for sure. You could have like a B section with a different bass sound. You could have... I don't know if this track if it would work super well in this track, but you could have a B section for the melody too. No, that's stupid. I don't know. I don't know where you would go with that. It's hard because it's one of those tracks that just kind of rides, you know? So it's hard to say where to go with it. I don't know. I think it works. I don't know if I would change it too much. Like, you know, do your details or whatever you were saying. Haven't gotten the time to flesh it all out. So, I don't know. I'd like to hear it when you flesh it all out, but I don't know. I don't think any like structural changes are necessary or anything. Feels like it's got a good down-tempo groove. Like you could get kind of deeper with it. Like you could get a little bit more dramatic with it if you wanted, but yeah, someone's got to make that meme. Yeah. Yeah, you could always add more glitches. I think like, so my thought with like down-tempo stuff is like you can almost always make some sort of subtle shift over the course of it and bring it into a new space, right? So like we're in one space, same space, but now we have the bass in there. Same space basically. Which I think like is it. This is why I'm bad at making this kind of stuff. I think is because I always like to go to different places, and so it's kind of hard. I mean, sometimes you end up adding too much stuff, or you go somewhere too different, and it fucks it up or whatever. I've done that a lot of times. Yeah, so I'm kind of hesitant to give that advice, but it can be a fun thing to try to do, is to figure out a way to go somewhere different in there. I don't know. Woohoo, 100 bits. I don't know what these things are. I don't really understand Twitch, to be honest. Do you guys get ads on my stream? Because I tried to disable all the ads, but I don't know how to. I think there's some that are mandatory or something. I disabled all the ones that I could. Yeah, trying to scale it back. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, no, I think that track works then. I wouldn't fuck with it too much. I think it makes sense.
To work with and be injustices and not what people want to hear about. It's not what I hear about. Anyway, yes.
Okay, so okay, one thing kind of popped in my head when I was listening to this is that I think it feels like you're trying to do too many hard things at once. Like there's too many complicated, which I don't fault you for. This is the exact same way that I work, and I think that's, it's not a bad strategy. Like that's kind of the way that I've always done it. Is like just try to do the hardest possible shit, and then you know, something kind of cool will come out of that. But I think like so like if for example, if I was your music teacher, I think the feedback that I would give you is write a really the most straightforward, like 4/4, everything's on the grid and straight, or well, not, I mean, obviously not totally, but that just has a really emotive melody. It has lots of nice like dissonance and tension and stuff, and things like evolve nicely as like an assignment, because I think like you already know how to do so many complicated things. It feels like you have a lot of really like advanced knowledge about like music, the kind of theory of music, and how to do a lot of things. And I feel like it feels like the thing that's missing is a little bit more feeling, like a little bit more of that sort of intuitive, like the reason that you got into music, I'm assuming, was because music makes you feel all sorts of shit. And so I feel like that's the one thing that I feel like this track is missing, is that the melody is nice, it's cool, the drums are cool and interesting, and everything works. There's all this like cool complicated stuff going on. The sound design is crazy. There's all this like crazy stuff. But I feel like it just feels like it's missing that one little thing. See you, Vibras. Which is not a bad thing. Like again, this is like exactly the same way that I often work, where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna try this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then it's gonna do this complicated thing, and blah 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 blah. And so that's why I'm telling you, like from my experience, this is where I feel like I end up when I don't spend enough time trying to like sink into the feeling of the song to try to express an emotion in a song. I end up in this place where there's lots of cool stuff going on, but there's like a little bit, maybe not enough feeling or something. And if the feeling is happy and peppy and everything, I think that's all good. But like I want you to like bring me into that, like get me there, you know, like you have to get me to this point where I'm feeling like okay, let's have a little moment and stuff. I think part of what made me think that was was this, like the tale of two igneous rocks, and then there's the lyrics of like kind of the chopped up samples. It makes me think like that. Yeah, it makes me feel like you're hiding the feeling that you're trying to put into the track. I don't know. Too much complexity and not enough emotive simplicity to latch onto. Yeah, I wouldn't say like like, so it's not something to beat yourself up about, because I feel like most people go wrong the opposite way, where they like go so much into the feeling that there's like nothing technically interesting about the track. There's just not very much refinement in the like sort of complexity theory part of it. you know, and then the track kind of suffers because of that. Like, because if it is really emotional and good and deep and blah blah blah, that's cool, but there's like a million tracks like that, right? And I think that's kind of what brings us all together, is that the thing that we like is like when it's like emotional and dense and stuff, but it also has this technical vibe to it, right? So I think like that would be my first, you know. The other thing that you can do that helped me a little bit, try to write some songs that you know you're never going to show anybody, that are like just, you know, just let yourself be like cheesy and emo and like say the lamest the lamest thing in the lyrics or whatever, or like or you know, allow yourself to do that and know that you're never going to show anybody that, and then kind of self-crit and work through like, okay, how am I going to how am I going to kind of get how am I going to get that to feel more right or whatever. Hello, Rida. It's on the stream, YouTube stream, woulg stream channel. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of my thought about the track. Like, again, the track is cool. Like, you've got a lot of really great stuff in here. I think it's that emotional depth that I feel like is sort of that just needs a bit more development. And again, like, not to say like I wouldn't say like just throw this away or anything. You've got something to work here. So the way that I've kind of come at this, I would take a section with that melody. Where is it? Okay, and I guess it depends on how you glitched it out, but if you can, try to sort of isolate the melody, and you can kind of go through and like mute different notes and be like, is this note making it sort of feel deeper or more expressive or not? And another way that I like to think about that is like, am I giving it away too soon, right? So if you have a big part of writing kind of these more emotional melodies and stuff is that you don't resolve too early. It's like you want to keep that feeling of like unresolvedness, and then you sort of resolve, and then it's like this kind of that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that's what I would do, is like just find solo out the melody or whatever, and just go through and see what notes don't have to be there. Like, strip it back as much as you can. Try to find places where you can land in that dissonance, especially I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, how does it work? So when you have your like, I don't know, I can't remember how it works, but yeah, just find those it's I find especially those little like semitone movements, or if you can incorporate any sort of microtonal, any bends, like slow bends, will give you a lot of this kind of dissonance that helps to sort of bring the feeling out. You can also add dissonance like in your sound design choices for the melodic instrument, and like harmonics and stuff like that. All that sort of stuff is going to give you these interesting sort of shapes, these sort of like emotional textures. Okay, cool. And don't forget to post your SoundCloud in the chat. I like that a lot. I think a little like I would almost kind of want to hear it like with a bit of refinement on the mix to get fully into this kind of Mr. Oiseau sort of territory. Because it's really convincing, like the way it's done is really good. And I like how you get there a lot. I think you could have excuse me. I think you could have a moment or two of melody to bring us here. Just a couple notes or something. A little kind of fragment of something really pretty or something that just brings us all the way into this kind of headbangy spot. I don't know. But yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot. I love these things. The bells. You never get nice bell sounds. Nice. Coolio. Armada. Oh, right. My bad. Okay, here we go. Couple notes there. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice. I think that's going somewhere good. I don't know what advice to give you for this one though. guess like after this, it's maybe time to add some new elements or figure out where it's going. Yeah, make it more longer. Yeah, I don't quite know what to make of it either. It's so atmospheric that I don't know. It's gonna be hard to add another instrument and make it fit because it's all about that ambience, you know. Yeah. You could just go somewhere completely different. Like it could sort of slow down while getting more intense, like having a big textural build up while the beat slows down, and then you get to this sort of moment, and then you have a melody that comes in. That could be a way to get there. Yeah, other than that, I'm not really sure. And then come back to this, I guess. That's like the only thing that comes into my mind. I think it sounds good though. Mix is nice. Bass is great. Ambience is great. I just need to figure out where to go with it. My instinct says like melody. That it's like after a bit of this, it's melody time. You just have to figure out how to get there. But it's one of those tracks where like we're already in a slow move. So like they're a slow mood. So like you can stretch it out and like kind of get to this sort of limit of like slow ripping apart sort of feeling. That's what I would do, I guess. Okay. Silent Science said she has a new track that you want to send instead. Okay, here we go. Unspecified drugs. Very cool. I'm wondering how you're gonna get out of this, because you're like in a really, you get somewhere really glitchy, and then it makes me feel like sort of, where are we gonna go from here? I had a thought. So since these sort of things are so like unsettled and like very strange chord or whatever, I wonder if it would make sense to have a moment in here where there's a chord or something. But like, okay, so when I think of unspecified drugs, I usually think of like a bunch of different emotions sort of battling each other, or that they're sort of just swirling around in yeah. So I don't know if I would go really consonant. Yeah, hold on. Let me finish this thought. So I sort of think about, you know, I sort of think about all the different unspecified drugs just kind of swirling around in your head, and like you get a little bubble of this, and that got really dark and weird. Oh, then okay, now we're going over here. Oh, that makes me angry. Oh, well, that's kind of weird. You know, like all these bubbles of moments of different weird emotions kind of bubbling up and stuff, and that's kind of where I feel like you get to a little bit later. Where's that bubbly shit? Yeah, here we go. We get some bubbly, we get some strange chords, but the first one kind of, we're like, So this is beautiful. I don't know if I would stay here this long, but I mean, it makes sense. And then we get to confusing land. Little plucky guys attack. Yeah, we get a little bit. It's like the notes coming in. Yeah, there's like these. I think you can kind of intersperse these moods, maybe even a little bit faster, a little bit more. So there's like more of these moments of a different mood within a certain one, right? So here we have one mood, right? It's a fucking weird mood, but it's a mood. And then like a moment of, or a happy chord or a sad chord or whatever, right? And then we come in, and then there's like all this gnarly ass shit. Yeah, I can kind of imagine like wandering through all these sort of totally different things. So like a way that you could kind of come at that, or I guess like my first instinct of how to come at that would be like, just keep working on the song until you have like a long ass and a bunch of just random sections that are like whatever, and then just clip little bits out of them and see if they can fit in there or something. That's maybe how I would do it. Or just try to like cut a bit out and put in like, I don't know, a piano chord or like a cello chord or something. Or maybe that's too cheesy. Yeah, you could have moments of like jazzy stuff, or like moments of I don't know, yeah, maybe more classical, maybe some chromatic kind of very classical sounding sort of shit. You could have all sorts of stuff in there. I don't know how you would do that, but I think you have the chops to do it, so I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. Yeah, I guess like the track makes sense to me now. I just feel like because these chords and these chords are so unsettled, it feels like we don't land anywhere, and so we don't have anywhere to push off of. It's like we don't have anything to hang on to. We don't have like a reference frame. When we go into all the weird stuff, it's all weird, right? And so it's hard to kind of keep track of what's happening, right? So we have like a moment of like happy moment or whatever, that we can kind of hold on to that while we go into the next like very ambiguous kind of chords section or whatever. And then we could have a sad thing or whatever that we kind of hang on to, and then we go into the next sort of ambiguous section. I can kind of imagine them as like, you know, the Spider-Man or Tarzan or whatever swinging through the trees. That's sort of the way I sort of imagine the emotions of all this stuff kind of happening. Yeah. But it's keep the drums. Agreed. So Ascend says the drums at least hold it together pretty well so far. I think that's really true. The drums kind of keep it, and they're fucking awesome. Super tight, clean, sick drums. Yeah, I don't know. This makes me feel a little bit too like, you know, you chose kind of like a meme cover art, and then it's a little bit of a silly track name. It's like, I feel like a more emotionally deep moment, or little emotionally deep moments interspersed in there could be really nice. That's nuts that you made those drums an operator. That's terrifying. It's a terrifying level of skill. Okay, post your SoundCloud in the chat. Okay, Teti, almost done here for today. Okay, so okay, so my thoughts are sort of like there's two things. There's always two things. There's two things. Okay, so I think in terms of the metal sections, like in terms of the mix and stuff, because it's kind of seems like partially your primary concern. I think you have to decide: are you gonna treat the metal stuff as metal, or are you gonna treat it as electronic music? Or if you're gonna treat the metal stuff as metal, then you got to treat the electronic music stuff as metal in terms of the mixing, right? So like in metal, the drums don't punch the same way. They don't like function the same. Like the kicks don't really function the same way as they do in electronic music. They're more sort of like to support. It feels like they're more kind of to support like the bass and the. It's like a different sort of sound design for like the kick and bass sort of stuff than it is for electronic music. So I think like if you're going to treat the metal stuff as electronic, then you maybe want to go back and find and like layer in electronic kicks, but quietly enough that they don't take away the excitement from the metal part. If you're going to go with the more sort of organic, real instruments sort of thing, then you got to go back to all the electronic stuff and switch out the drums or soften them up or something. That's my sort of thought, that like it feels like there's two mixing styles that are fighting, and I think that's why you're having a hard time with the mix. Okay, I lied. There's more than two stuff. So okay, the other thing you mentioned, I added some glitches, or you said something in the chat of like maybe it's too many glitches or something. I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's a couple moments where I kind of wish that you would just let the metal stuff like just go, just let it be, just let it play, because it's cool. The it's great. I think it works really well. It sounds cool. So you can just sit there, like sit in those things. You don't have to keep kind of glitching it out. And I mean, I think that's a big part of glitch music in general, is like knowing when is a good time for a glitch. And the other advice I could give you for that is like trying to figure out some other glitching techniques. It's like not every technique is going to work. Like the stutter edit kind of stuff is not going to work on every track. So it's important to sort of like figure out a glitch technique that works for the specific textures and sounds that you have and the sort of flow of the sounds that you have. And I think that the glitches work in this context. That's a great one. Perfect. This one is nice. That works. This is great. I don't think you need that. Get there smoother, but it's good. Good. I think you can emphasize this a bit too by like right before it comes in, pull out a bit more, and then or whatever. Yeah, I don't think you need those ones. Like, because here you set us up for this moment, right? So just let us have the moment of or whatever the fuck's going on there. Okay, so that's all that stuff. I think like in terms of, you were saying sort of nightmare and ideas dump. So I kind of get that feeling from it too. I don't think that is the end of the world. I like tracks that are just a bunch of ideas kind of thrown together. The one part that I feel like doesn't really fit here is this. It's like super sort of cinematic Hollywood kind of feeling, I think. And that takes away like you put us in a world here, and this feels like it's from a different world entirely. But when you bring it back, this is, I'm imagining some sort of version of this. That works, I think. It's just this one, the chord changes and stuff feel really kind of like Hollywood movie-esque. And then, so then the last thing I would say is like sort of just deciding on what's the flow of the track. And sometimes what that means is like, it means like, oh, okay, actually, it doesn't make sense to have this whole first part or whatever. I'm just going to make an intro so that we get here, right? Or, oh, actually, this particular part or whatever should go at the end. It's like the kind of finishing statement or something. Or whatever. Like it might mean shuffling some stuff around and working on the transitions a bit more. That's a big part of like getting out of those kind of idea dump sort of tracks, is like just working the shit out of the transitions. Because you can have a billion ideas in a track, as long as the transitions are tight, then it'll work and it'll make sense. But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it works. There's just some like kind of finessing to do, I think. Now that I deleted from the album, I don't have minutes. Yeah, it makes sense. Cool. Nice. Okay. And the last track for today, because the temperature is so fucking hot today. Oh shit, is this person still here? Hevriki. Oh yeah, here we go. This is my first time showing my stuff to people outside my family, close friends. Hey, nice. Okay, cool. Okay, so my one, oh, sorry, I should let it play. My one thought, actually I have two thoughts. Like I said, every time there's two. So my one thought was with the snare. So, okay, that kind of pan snare thing works perfectly for this, I think. So gnarly. I think you could even play with the pitch of it. That might even be an interesting thing to do. But once we get down here, when we're a little bit more chill, fuck, that's nice. Okay, so once we get kind of down there to the more chill part, I think there's a couple of ways to play it. One is save the snare for the parts where you really want a big snare and emphasize it more. So if we're doing kind of more of a down-tempo thing, if you want to justify a big snare like that, you got to sweep into it like or whatever. Maybe you don't have to sweep into it, but just like less often, because there's so many other. It's that the mood has changed, and I think that snare feels like it doesn't quite. Yeah. So Ascend says could have the same snare but just make it shorter, which is like exactly what I was thinking. Actually, that was my first thought. Was if you just keep that same snare but you make it a bit shorter, you could also try low pass a little bit to make it a little bit more kind of. I don't know how to make that sound with my mouth, but I think that could also work. There's a bit where you do like within a bar. There's like a couple snares. Those guys. I think it's hard to make that work with such a hardcore snare. I would try to make some of those, figure out which one's the main one. Da da da. So you could do da 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 da. That like the last one is the biggest one. The first one feels a bit like a ghost note. If you want to make them all hardcore, then maybe reinforce it with kicks or something. But yeah, that's great. It's a really great song. Okay, so that's thought number one. And then my last thought was about, I think you're maybe still, I mean, I guess it's a whip, right? So you're still working on it. Be careful with these build-ups that are all hi-hats, I think. Right? We just get it. Right? That works. Like, you don't have to, I wouldn't get rid of it. I think the only place where those things are risky is when you're relying only on that to make the build-up. So, like, you just have to reinforce it with some other things happening at the same time. There's quite an intense move, like to do that particular pattern of like da 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 or whatever. Is quite come on words. It's like it's quite an intense move. So I don't know if this is as intense as your build-up's going to get. I don't know if you need that. I think you're already there with the piano stuff. You could add maybe a textural element or some sort of pitch shift in the background or something getting louder or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the hi-hats thing is just maybe a little bit too intense for what's happening here. Unless you're going to make it more intense, then whatever, keep them in. But yeah, I love the composition, the sound design. It's great. It's great. I was hoping to kind of do a false build-up into kind of nothing at the end. Nice. I like that idea. A false build-up. I love that kind of shit. Cool. Yeah. What college are you hoping to go to? Or I guess that's a personal question. You don't have to answer that. But yeah, cool. I hope you get in. I think that's cool. It's really cool. Oh. Let's listen to it again. And we'll call it a day. All right. I guess before we dive into it, thanks everybody for coming today. It was a good stream. Hoping to apply in the UK, based in Ireland at the moment. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I have to save them for next time, Ben. All right. Take her easy, everybody. See you next week. Same time. I think it's at 3 p.m. now. Take care, everybody.